They say love is blind, and I was living proof. 10 years of my life, gone. 10 years of trusting Omar, my husband, my partner in every sense of the word. We were the golden couple in Houston's oil and gas scene, with a beautiful home, 2 adorable kids, and a bank account that seemed to grow exponentially every year. I thought I had it all, but it was all a lie. I remember the day I met Omar like it was yesterday. He walked into my life with this charming smile and effortless confidence that drew me in like a magnet. I was young, naive, and eager to please. He swept me off my feet, and I fell deeply in love. He was my rock, my safe haven. Or so I thought. As the years went by, I began to notice subtle changes in Omar. He became more secretive, more distant. He would often disappear for hours without explanation, and when I asked him where he was going, he would just shrug it off and tell me I was being paranoid. He changed his passwords on everything, and when I tried to touch his phone or laptop, he would get angry and tell me to back off. I brushed it off as him being protective of his work, but deep down, I knew something was not right. I ignored the red flags, convinced myself I was just being insecure. After all, he was my husband, my partner. He loved me. Did not he? He told me I was the only one for him, that he could not imagine a life without me. But then, I noticed the lie. The same lie he had told me before, about being stuck in a meeting that ran late. I knew it was a lie because I had called him at 3 in the morning, and he hadn't answered. When I confronted him about it, he just laughed it off and told me I was being too sensitive. That's when I started to investigate. I did not have to look far. A mysterious number sent me screenshots of their conversations, and my world came crashing down. Omar had been sending money to another woman for 6 months, while I was deployed overseas, serving my country. The pain was like a punch to the gut, leaving me breathless and disbelieving. How could he do this to me? To us? To our children? The screenshots showed their flirtatious conversations, the way he lavished her with attention and gifts. I felt like I was going to vomit. My mind reeled with questions. Who was she? How long had this been going on? Did he love her? But the worst part was yet to come. As I dug deeper, I discovered that his entire friend group knew about his affair and had been helping him hide it. They would make excuses for him, cover for him when I asked questions. I felt like I was living in a nightmare. My boss, Rachel, was the first person I turned to. She gave me time off to heal, to process the pain and the anger. I was grateful for her kindness, but I knew I could not stay hidden forever. I had to confront Omar, had to face the monster he had become. I gathered everyone who needed to know. His brother, my boss, and even his friends. I wanted them all to see the truth, to understand the depth of his betrayal. The confrontation was intense, with tears and screams and anger. Omar tried to gaslight me, to make me believe I was the one who was crazy. But I was not having it. You're a liar, I spat at him, my voice shaking with rage. You've been lying to me for years, manipulating me, making me financially dependent on you. You took away my power, my autonomy. But I am taking it back. His brother looked at him with disgust, his eyes filled with shame. Omar, how could you do this to her? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Omar just shrugged, his eyes avoiding mine. It did not mean anything, he said, his voice cold and detached. But I knew it meant everything. It meant he had used me, manipulated me, and discarded me like trash. As I looked at him, I felt a sense of clarity wash over me. I realized that I had been living in a toxic relationship, one that had slowly drained my self-esteem and autonomy. But I was done. I was reclaiming my power, my life. I am not the same woman I was 10 years ago. I am stronger, wiser, and more resilient. I know what I want, and I know what I deserve. And I deserve better than Omar. As I walked away from him, from the pain and the betrayal, I felt a sense of liberation. I was free to rediscover myself, to rebuild my life. And I knew that I would emerge from this heartbreak stronger, more radiant than ever. It was not easy, but I did it. I took back control of my life, my finances, and my future. I filed for divorce, and I fought for custody of our children. It was a long and brutal battle, but I emerged victorious. I am not a victim. I am a survivor. And I am not just surviving. I am thriving. I am rebuilding my life, rediscovering myself, and learning to love again. This time I'll be smarter, wiser, and more cautious. I'll trust my instincts, and I will not ignore the red flags. I'll rise from the ashes, stronger, more radiant than ever. And Omar? He'll be just a memory, a reminder of the lessons I learned and the strength I discovered within myself.